This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance inside the state capitol in Carson City. We are joined today by Irene Bustamante Adams. She is the Speaker Pro Tem of the Nevada State Assembly. What a year it was for Democrats, at least in Nevada.
It was a great comeback story for
Right.
us. So.
We look at what happened in the Assembly in 2014. The Nevada Democrats lost 10 seats. In 2016, the Nevada Democrats gained 10 seats. The same 10 seats.
Right. And then some.
Right.
And so it was a phenomenal year for us. We definitely played a lot of defense in that year where we had lost the majority. And I think it gave us that hunger spirit that we wanted to know that we never wanted to be there again.
But I want to get a sense from you why the Democrats were so darn successful. In the Assembly, 10 seats picked up. The Senate flips back to the Democrats. In the U.S. congressional delegation, 2 pickups. A very hotly contested U.S. Senate seat, the Democrats pick it up. Hillary Clinton wins Nevada. I mean, a significant swing state. And while other states that were Democratic leaning flipped to the Republicans, Wisconsin, Michigan, sort of Ohio, Pennsylvania, Nevada just stays blue as can be.
I think it's one word, it was coordination, both at the local level and at the state level. And that was something that I hadn't seen in the past, and it was the coordination together to make it work, to know that we wanted to win across the board.
So the question becomes, we see the voters can be finicky. And so what do the Democrats do in this cycle, this session, to maintain the confidence that they apparently gave back through 2016?
I think communication and engagement. One, like making sure that your constituents know what you're doing while you're up here. There's so many bills to consider, and so you could be so removed from the process. So communication, I think, is key. And then also going back to your communities and sharing the ideas and thoughts that are coming forth so that you know what they want you to vote on. And I think lastly was to make sure that we focus on the economy. There's a lot of great ideas that come forth, but if we don't put the economy and jobs first, I think it would be our downfall.
And I want to talk about the economy, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention, as the father of 2 daughters, that there are now a record number of women in the Nevada State Legislature. 40% of the Nevada State Legislature is occupied by women. In the Assembly, 17 out of 42, 14 of them happen to be Democrats.
Right.
What's going on there?
I think that in the past we knew that we needed to expose especially female legislators in leadership positions, and we got that opportunity through women like Speaker Kirkpatrick, who engaged us in the conversations. And now that's why the result of you have a female leading the Money Committee, female leading the Revenue Committee, a female leading Commerce, myself, Labor and Business, and a
Speaker Pro Tem.
Right. And so it was that exposure that helped us to get the experience that we need, and why you see so many women involved.
I want to talk about the economy because you did bring it up, and I think it's important because I think Democrats nationwide are looking at the apparent lack of economic message. You're looking at the economy to the extent that you want to make sure the government operates in a way that is efficient. And I want to bring up corporate tax incentives, because people look at these incentives in very different ways. Some see them as job creators, some see them as corporate welfare. Nevada clearly did an excellent job creating an incentives program for Tesla. California was mighty angry that Tesla came to Nevada, at least the battery factory, And so, but still, you're looking into this. You want to make sure that if we're going to give tax incentives, that they provide what they say they're going to provide.
Right. And so tax expenditures, credits, they can work to your favor as a state, but I think where policymakers go wrong is the lack of accountability. So if you're going to be giving millions of dollars of the taxpayer money, you need to watch it with a magnifying glass. Is it producing what you thought it was? Is it bringing the jobs in that you wanted to bring in? Is it diversifying the economy? And I think without that lack of examination, that you really are just giving money away.
So let's dig deeper, because we know, for example, in the entertainment space, there are a lot of states that are giving tax credits to lure Hollywood out of California. The Tesla deal again. I mean, California said, oh, they just gave away the kitchen sink and it's not going to pay off. And so what are you doing to make sure that programs like the Tesla program are delivering what they say they're going to deliver? I think you have legislation.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm presenting a bill, AB 143, Assembly Bill 143, that forms an interim committee permanently made up of people from taxation or the money committee to do a thorough examination of whether we should continue, terminate, does it still serve the best interests of Nevada? And without that deep examination, just like you would do in your own budget at home, you're spending too much on entertainment or too much on food. You've got to constantly be evaluating it, and so that's what the bill does.
So what do our friends, your friends in the corporate community think about this? Those that have been receiving these tax incentives? Because, look, daylight can show some things that may not be pretty.
I think those companies that are doing right by the money that we've given them are not going to have a problem. It's those companies that are not holding their own and maybe are not using our tax dollars to, the way that they were intended to be, are probably the ones that are going to come in opposition.
I want to also talk about another piece of legislation that you're proposing, and it deals with cosmetologists. My sister is a cosmetologist. She's actually a hairdresser, but I believe she had to get her cosmetology license.
Yes.
The requirements, and could be appropriate, are onerous. They're onerous, arguably.
Right.
Talk us through, and this is kind of your good government, part of your good government focus. Talk us through
And
that.
so you don't ever want it to be onerous. You
Right.
want to be able to give people the freedom to be able to learn a trade or start a business. And so you constantly have to be looking at the regulations. Are we holding you back?
Right.
Are we helping her to be the best that she can be in her trade? And so last year I introduced a bill that would reduce the hours that it would take to become a cosmetologist from 1,800 to 1,600, because we were losing them to other states. It would be better to go to California or to Washington, go get your license there, and then come back.
And the license transfers?
And the license transfers. So it's reducing those regulations, reducing those barriers, so it's a constant examination. And so we'll be doing that again to... We're constantly looking at ways to improve the industry so that we can stay competitive.
I gotta ask you, one could argue, I don't argue it, but one could argue government efficiency, it's not the sexiest topic.
It's not.
But clearly I can feel your passion on it.
Yeah.
How did you come to decide to make government efficiency part of really your mission?
I think that I always go to places where people don't normally gravitate to because it's not congested. And
Well
so,
stated, I like that. Not congested. No, you're
and
wise.
so it's
You're wise.
healthcare is very congested,
Right.
education, all important, but you usually don't find somebody advocating for government efficiency. You usually talk about it,
Right.
but not necessarily
And
focus on the
are
legislation.
your friends on the Republican side jumping with you? Because they talk about it a lot,
Yeah.
or more. So I got to think you can get some nice bipartisan support on this.
Very much so.
Right.
I think that I've already had several of my colleagues on the other side say
Right.
that they want to sponsor the bills that I'm putting
that's
forward.
great.
So I'm super
Right.
excited
Well,
about that.
congratulations on
Thanks.
becoming Speaker Pro Tem
Thank
of the
you.
Nevada State Assembly. Her name is Irene Bustamante Adams. She's a member of the Nevada State Assembly. We're inside the state capitol in Carson City. Brad Pomerance here on Local Edition.